Hello and welcome to another exciting tutorial of GreatStack. In this tutorial, we are going to learn how to create a full stack e-commerce website using Next.js. In this project, we will use Clerk for seamless user authentication and also integrate Inngest to efficiently manage the background jobs. This combination will help us to build a scalable and high performance application. So let's start by taking a quick look at the project demo that we will be building in this tutorial. So this is the home page of our e-commerce website, where you can see the navigation bar with logo, navigation menu and account button. Then we have this slider. After that we have popular products. Then we have this featured products and one call to action section, and after that we have this email subscription form. Then we have this footer. If I open any product, so you can see this product detail page where you can see the product gallery. You can change the images like this. And here we have the product description, title, rating and price. Then we have add to cart and buy now button. To add this product in cart, we have to log in, right? So just click on this link and here we can create an account or log in with existing account. We have created this login functionality using Clerk. Let's click on this. Continue with Google. After login, you will find this profile icon, and here we have the manage account, cart and my orders. So if I go to manage account, we can manage the account. We can update the profile picture, email address, or if I go to shop page, it will display all the products available on this e-commerce website. Let's again open this product and click on add to cart. So this product has been added into cart. Now let's open all products. Then I'll open this product and click on buy now. If I click on buy now, it will directly take us to the cart page and it will also add this product in the cart. So let's click here. So here you can see we have added two products, and here we have to select the address and we can add a new address. So let me click on this button. From here we can add the address to deliver the product. After adding the address detail, just click on save address. Then I'll click on place order. So now our order has been placed. So you can see the message order placed successfully, and after few seconds it will redirect us to my orders page. So now you can see the order that we have just placed. Correct? Once you will assign any user as admin from Clerk dashboard, then you will find this seller dashboard link. Just click here, so it will open the seller dashboard page where you can upload a new product using this form. We can upload the images, we can add the product name, description, category, price and offer price, and from here we can add a new product. Then we have the product list where admin can see all the products uploaded on this website. After that, here we have orders page where admin can see all the orders placed on this website. So here we have the new order that we have just placed. So this was all feature of admin dashboard, and to come back to the home page, we'll click on this logo. So this was our Next.js e-commerce project overview. After we finish building this app, we will deploy it on Vercel. Before we dive into the code, if you are completely new to React, I highly recommend watching my React beginners tutorial first. It is available for free on my YouTube channel and I will include the link in the description below. Now let's get started. So first we will come to desktop screen, and here first we have to get the starter files for our project. To get the starter project, we will open web browser and we will open GitHub profile, that is github.com/greatstackdev. Here we will go to repositories, and here we have this quick cart, that is our starter project. So let's open this repository. So in this repository we have the Next.js project with our project front end. So we have to get this code on our desktop. For that, we will click on this button, and from here we will copy this link. Now we will come back to the desktop screen again and right click and select open in terminal. Now here we have to clone our project, so just add git clone and then paste this URL. Make sure you have already installed the Git software on your desktop. After that, we will press enter and it will start the cloning process. Now you can see we have successfully cloned this project. After that, we will get this folder quick cart. Now we will close this terminal and we will open this folder in VS Code editor. So right click, show more options, open with code. So here our folder is open in VS Code editor. Here we have to open the integrated terminal. So we will right click on this blank space and click on open in integrated terminal. Now you can see our project folder in this integrated terminal, that is quick cart. After that, here we have to install the dependencies that will help us to run our project. So here we will write npm install. Now you can see all the dependencies has been installed. Now we will run this project. For that we will type npm run dev. So it will start our project in the development server. Now let's open this link localhost port 3000 in the web browser. So now you can see this is the front end of our e-commerce project that we have created using Next and Tailwind CSS. Here we have multiple pages like home page, shop page. Here we have the seller dashboard where we can add the product, product list, orders. So these data is coming from the assets file. As you can see, till now we don't have the backend, so we are getting the data from this assets file. As you can see, here we have the product dummy data. Here we have the user dummy data. Similarly, here we have this orders dummy data, then address dummy data. So we will use these data on the web page to display the data on the front end part. If I click on this product, so this is our product page. We can click on these images to update the main image. We can click on this buy now button, so it will be added in the cart and you can increase or decrease the quantity. And if I come to /my orders, here we have this page where we will display all the orders of any user. So our front end is ready in Next.js and Tailwind CSS. Now we will integrate the backend in this e-commerce project. So first, let's come back to the VS Code editor and let me close this assets.js file. And if I open .env file, here you can see we have these environment variables. So first we will set up the Clerk that will help us with the user login and authentication. For user login and registration, we will use Clerk. Using Clerk, we can easily integrate the user authentication and user management in our Next.js project. It also provides beautiful and ready to use components to authenticate and manage your users. Like you can use the sign up component, user buttons, profile and many other components. You can easily integrate it in your Next.js project. So just click on the link given in the description that will directly take you to this Clerk website. And here we will click on sign in button. You need to sign in on this website to get the credentials. So I'm going to use Google account for sign up. After login, you will find this option create application. So just click on this button. And here we have to provide the application name. So I'm going to use the application name, that is Quick Cart e-commerce. After that, we will click on this button create application. After that, we will select this Next.js option, then we have to install the dependencies in our project. So just copy this command using this icon and come back to the VS Code editor and we will stop our project. So just press Ctrl C and here we will run this command npm install and dependency name Clerk/Next.js. So this dependency has been installed. After that, come back to the web browser again and here we will get this next public Clerk publishable key. So just copy both lines and come to .env file and here we will remove this line and we will paste this environment variables. So here we have the Clerk secret. So let me remove this second one. Let's move this section here in the private environment variable because this variable is going to be used by our backend and this is going to be used by frontend. After that, here we have to create a middleware.ts file. So let me just copy the name middleware.ts and in the root directory we will create a new file and we will name the file middleware.ts. Now just copy the line from here and we will paste it here. Now save the changes. After that, come to step 4 and here we have to add the Clerk provider. So we will come to app folder and here we will open layout.js file. In this file, we have to import the Clerk provider tag. So in this return, we will add Clerk provider. So you can see we are getting the suggestion Clerk provider from Clerk/next package. Let's select this one and close this tag like this. So we have the closing tag. So we will move it here. So we have added Clerk provider opening and closing tag. So we have wrapped the HTML code with this Clerk provider. Now we have to start our project again. So let's write npm run dev. So our project has been started. Now we will come back to the front end and here we have this dummy button where you can see user icon and account text. So after this, here we will add the logic. So whenever user click on this button, then they will get a pop-up for login or sign up. So we will come back to the VS Code editor and we will save all the files. Then we will come to components folder and here we have this navbar.jsx file. In this navbar, we will add the logic so that when we click on this account button, then we will get a pop-up for user login. To display the login pop-up here, we will use open signin method and we will get this method using use Clerk. Just import the use Clerk from Clerk next package. Now we have this open signin method. We will use it to display the login pop-up. So scroll down and here you will find this button and in this button we have the image, right? So in this button tag we will add the onClick property and here we will provide the open signin function. Just copy this onClick and this function name and in this second button also we will add this. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. If I reload the web page and click on this account button, so now you can see here we have the pop-up for login. Now if I click on this continue with Google option, let's choose the Google account, then click on continue button. Now we have successfully created our account on the Quick Cart e-commerce. Now just click here to go to home page. So we have successfully logged in on our website. Here you can see still we are getting this button account, right? So we will add the logic so that whenever user gets login, after that here we will display the user icon. That will be user profile icon. So just come back to the VS Code and just open this context folder, and here we have the context API to store the central data. So in this one we will get the user object that we will get from Clerk, and whenever the user gets logged in, then we will get the user details in that user object. So to get the user object, here we will write const curly braces user equal to, and here we will use user hook. So we will get the user data in this object whenever the user gets logged in. After that we have to pass this user in other components. For that we just have to add this user in this value object. So let's add it here only. So we will add the user. Now we can access this user in any component. So again come back to the navbar.jsx file, and here we are getting this is seller and router from the use app context. So here we will get the user also. Now we have this user data. Now we have to hide this button, and here we will display the user profile icon whenever the user gets logged in. For that we are going to use the ternary operator. So after this image tag we will add the curly braces. We have wrapped the button in curly braces, and here we will check if we have the user. In that case we will return the user button. So let's use this fragment, and then we will add the colon. So when the user data is not available, then we will display this button tag where we have added the on click, and when we click on this button it will open the sign in form. Let's arrange it like this, or let me click on format document. After that, if the user is logged in, then in this fragment we will add one user button component that we will get from Clerk/Next.js. Just click on this one, so it will be imported. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. So now you can see here we have this user profile icon, and if I click here it will open this drop down. Here we have the option to manage account. Here we can delete the account. Here we have the option for sign out. After that, here we will add the routes. Suppose we have the other pages like cart page, then we have to go to product and click on buy now. So it will open the cart page. So here in this drop down we will add the entry for the cart page, so that when we want to go to cart, just click on this icon and then we will click on this link to open the cart page. To add this cart link in the user button drop down, just come back to the VS Code, and here let's remove this slash and we will use this closing tag for user button, right? Opening and closing tag for user button. And in this one we have to add the menu items. So we will add the user button component dot menu items property. So we will create the tag using this property, and in this one we will add the user button dot action tag. In this tag we have to define the label, icon and on click effect for the menu item. So suppose we will add the label, that will be cart, then it will display the cart menu. After that we will add the label icon, and in this one we will use the cart icon. So we have already provided the cart icon in this assets file, assets.js file. If I open it, here we have this cart icon that is returning a SVG tag. So we will use this icon here. So in this label icon, we will add cart icon, and you can see we are getting the suggestion. So just click here. So it will automatically import this icon. After that, here we will add the onClick property, and in this onClick property, we will pass one arrow function, and here we will call router.push method, and in this push method, we will add the path for our cart page, that is /cart. After that, we will save the changes and let's come to web browser. So we will reload this web page, and after that, if I click on this user button, here we have the new entry for cart. Suppose if I come to home page, and from here if I click on this cart, it will open this cart page. After that, we will add one more menu item. So we will come back to the VS Code editor, and from here let me just copy this tag user button dot menu items, and we will paste it again. Here we will add the label, that is my orders, and instead of this cart icon we will use bag icon. Now in this onClick, we will add router.push, and we will add the path /my orders. Now save the changes, and now you can see we have the another menu, my orders. If I click on this one, it will open this my orders page. So it is working fine. Now if I come to home page and click on this inspect, let's open the phone view. So here you can see in the phone view, still we are getting this account button. So we will fix it. So just come back to the VS Code again, and here we have this code for mobile menu. So in the mobile menu, we have removed these links like home, shop, about, right? So here we will add the same logic for the button that we have added here. So just copy this curly braces from here, and we will remove this button and paste this entire thing that we have just copied. So here we are checking when we have the user, then we are displaying this user button, and if we don't have the user, then we will display this account button. Now save the changes. So here you can see we are getting this button, and here we have the cart and my orders also. Let me add two more entries for all product page and home page. For that, we will come back to the VS Code editor, and let's create the copy of this tag. We will click on format document. So in the first one, we will add home, and in the label icon we will write home icon, and in this router.push we will add home path, that is /. Let's create one more copy of this tag. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and here we have one more tag, and in this label we will write products, and in the label icon we will use box icon. Make sure to import it from assets using the suggestion. Then we will add the route, that is /all-product. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. If I reload this web page and if I click on this user icon, then we have the home, products, cart and my orders. So we have added these menu. After that, we will close this dev tool, and here we will start creating the APIs. To create the API, first we need a database where we will store the data that we will get from the API. For that, we will configure the MongoDB database. So we will come back to the VS Code, and here we will create a config folder. So in this root directory, we will create a new folder in this root folder and write the folder name config. In this config folder, we will create a new file where we will configure the MongoDB. For that, here we will right click and add a new file, that is db.js. To use the MongoDB database, we are going to use the mongoose package. So first we have to install that package. So let's open the terminal and stop this project. And here we will write npm install mongoose. So our package has been installed. Now we will run this project again. So write npm run dev. Now hide this terminal. Now we will open the web browser to get the MongoDB URI for the MongoDB database connection. So we will open new tab and we will search for MongoDB and open this website mongodb.com. Here we will click on the sign in button. If you don't have account, you can sign up using this sign up link, and I already have the account, so I'll click on this Google button. After sign up, you have to provide the project name. For that, here I'll write the project name, Quick Cart, Ecommerce. Then click on this next button. After that, just click on this create project. So here our project has been created. Next we have to create a new cluster. To create a cluster, we will click on this create button. Here we have to select this M0 free server that is providing 512 MB of storage, shared RAM and virtual CPU. Here we have to provide the cluster name, so let me keep it like this, cluster 0 by default, and then we have to select the cloud provider. So we will select AWS, and here in this drop down we will select the nearest regions. So I'm going to select this Mumbai. You can use any nearest region. After that, we'll click on this button, create deployment. After that, here we have to provide the username and the password. So here we will add username, that is GreatStack, that is our channel name. And here we will add a simple password. Make sure to avoid @ and hashtag in the password. So do not use the @ and hashtag. Here we will add the simple password GreatStack123. Then click on this create database user. So now we have created the database user, and here we will choose the connection method. From here we will select drivers. Here we will select mongoose. So here we are getting the suggestion to install the mongoose that we have already done. And in the third step, we will get the connection string. So it takes an average of 10 to 15 seconds to provide a connection URI. So just wait for a few seconds or minute. Now you can see here we have the MongoDB connection string. So we have to copy this string. So from here, let me just copy this string till this one, mongodb.net. Just copy this one and we will come back to the VS Code editor. And here we will open .env file. Here we have already created an environment variable name, MongoDB URI. So here we will paste this link, MongoDB string, right? Here we have the username, then we have the user's password, and this is the cluster information. So we have added the MongoDB string. After that, we will open db.js file, and here we will create the configuration file that will help us to connect our project with our database. So first, here we will import the Mongoose package. After that, here we will create a variable. So let me write let cached equal to, here we will use global.mongoose. After that, here we will add one check. So we will add, if we don't have the cached data, in that case we will create the cached data. So write cached equal to global.mongoose, and we will assign one object where we will add the properties, that is connection and promise. So we will add con and we will store null. Similarly, we will add promise property, and here we will add this null. After that, we will create one asynchronous arrow function with the name connectDB. So write async function, and we will add the name, that is connectDB. From here we will remove this params, and in this function first we will check if our cached.connection property is true. In that case, simply return cached.connection, and if we don't have this property true, in that case we will add the one more if statement, and here we will check if not cached.promise. So if the cached.promise is not there, in that case the MongoDB connection is not yet established. So we will establish the MongoDB connection. For that, here we will write const options equal to curly braces, and here we will use the buffer commands, and it will be false. So we have created the option for the MongoDB connection. After that, here in this cached.promise method, we will save the response of our MongoDB connection. For that, here we will use mongoose.connect, and in this one we have to provide our MongoDB URI. For that, we will use the template literal. So we will add the backticks $, curly braces, and here we will provide process.env, and here we have to provide the MongoDB URI. For that, we will come to .env file and just copy this variable name, come to db.js file, and we will provide this name MongoDB URI. After that, we will add slash, and here we have to provide our collection name. So let's add quick cart, and after that we will add the comma, and here we will provide the options that we have created here, where we have added buffer commands false. After that, we will use dot then, and we will pass the mongoose, and from here we will simply return this mongoose. Suppose if we don't have the promise in this cached data, in that case we will create this MongoDB connection and we will save the connection as a promise. And suppose we have the promise already available, in that case here we will add cached.connection equal to await, and here we will add cached.promise. After that, we will simply return this cached.connection. So here we have created this asynchronous function that will help us to establish a connection with our MongoDB database. Now we have to export this function from here so that we can use it in another files. So here we will write export default and the function name, that is connectdb. So our config file is ready. Now save the changes, and now we will create a new folder in this root folder. So right click and create a new folder and write the folder name models. In this folder we will store the mongoose model, in which we will define the structure on which we will save the data in our database. So first we will create a new file and write the file name user.js. Here we will create the user model, and using that user model we will save the user data in our database. Suppose if a user gets created, then we will save that data on our database also. For that, here we will create this user model. To create the user model, first we have to import the mongoose package. So we will write import mongoose from mongoose. After that, we have to create the user schema. To create the user schema, here we will write const user schema equal to new mongoose dot, and here we will use this constructor schema, and in this one we will add the object where we will define the properties for this user model. So first we need the ID property, so let's add underscore ID, and in this property we will store the user ID. Here we will add the type, that will be a string. After that we will add the required property true. Suppose if we are trying to store a user data, so in that if we don't have underscore ID property, then the data will not be stored because we have added required true property in this ID. After that we will add the comma and we will add the name property. Here we will add the type a string and required true. Just copy and paste it here. Now we will create one more copy of this, and here we will add the property name email. Type will be a string and required true. And after that we will add the unique property that we will enable using true. So suppose any user has been created with any email ID, and if they try to create another account, then the user will not be created in our database. After the email property, here we will add the image URL property where we will store the profile image URL of the user. So here also we will add this object where we will define type a string and required true. After that, here we will add cart items, and in this property we will provide the type, that will be object, and here we will add the default property, that will be this empty object. After that we will add the comma, and here we will define this minimize property, that will be false. Let me remove this import. So here we have created this schema for the user. Now using this schema we will create a user model. So we will write const user equal to mongoose dot model, and here we have to provide the property, that is user, and then we will provide the user schema. So here we have created this user model. By using it, we can create multiple users and store them in the database. Here we have to add the logic where first we will check if the model is already available in the database, then we will use that model, and if it is not available, then we will create the model. For that, here we will write mongoose dot models, and here we will add the OR operator, and in this models we will use this dot user. So if this user model is available, then we will use that. It will be assigned in this user, and if we don't have the model, then we will create a new model using this user schema. So here we have created this model. Now we have to export this user model so that we can use it in the another file. For that we will write export default and the user. Now save the changes, and now we have the user model ready. After that we will create the first API that will handle the user creation, update and delete events. For that we are going to use the webhooks that is provided by Clerk. So let's click on this configure button. If I scroll down, after this API, here we have webhooks. Just click here. From here we can add a endpoint listener that will catch the event and it will provide the data to our backend. To create the webhooks, first we have to deploy our project on Vercel. Then we will be able to use webhooks. So if I click on this add endpoint, here we have to provide the endpoint URL. Then we have to select the event. Then we will be able to listen that event. So here we have two methods. So the first method is manual and the second method is using this Inngest platform. So we can easily manage the events that we will receive from webhooks using this Inngest. So in this project we are going to use this Inngest webhooks event management. If I click on this one, first we have to create an account on this Inngest platform. Then we have to select the events. Then we will be able to process the event. So first let's come back to the VS Code editor, and first we will create the ingest functionality in our project. Then we will deploy this project on Vercel, and after that we will link our project with the Inngest platform to listen our events. Here we will open .env file, and in this one we have to provide the sign-in key and event key of Inngest. To manage the Clerk webhooks, batch processing and background jobs, we will use Inngest. It also provides multiple functions to manage queuing, background jobs, scheduling and cron jobs. So just click on the link given in the description that will directly take you to this Inngest website. Now we will create an account here. So I'll click here. Then I'll select Google. Now you can see here, first we have to upload the logo image and provide the organization name. So let me upload one image and provide the name. Now here we will click on skip button. After that, just click on this icon and we will get the option to get event keys and signing keys. So just click on this event key, and here we have this default Inngest key that is just generated. Just click on this copy icon and we will provide this key here in this Inngest event key environment variable. Now we need the sign-in key, so just click here and open sign-in key and just copy the key from this icon and paste it here. Now we have this both Inngest sign-in and event key. After that, let's open the terminal, and here we have to stop this project to install the Inngest packages. So just write npm install Inngest and press enter. So our package has been installed, and now we will run our project again. For that we will write npm run dev. So our project is running. Now let's minimize this terminal. After that we will come back to the web page again, and here we will click on this help and feedback, then open Inngest documentation, and from here we will select this Next.js, and we are using this app router instead of this page router. We are using app router. So select this one, scroll down, and here we have the option to install this package that we have already installed. We can also start the development server that will help us to fetch the ingest event on our local system. So we will skip this step. After that, here we will come to this create an ingest client. Here we have to create an endpoint on this /API/ingest where we will listen all the events. So when we connect the ingest with the Clerk, then we will get the event on this API. After that, we have to create the ingest client. To create it, we will come back to the VS Code editor, and in this config folder we will create a new file and we will name the file ingest.js. Again, come back to the web browser, and here we will copy these code and paste it in this file. Here we will provide the ID that will be quick cart next. So here we have added one ID for our client. After that, we can use this ingest to create the functions and to send the events also. So let's come back to the web browser, and here we will see how to create the function using this ingest client. So the third step is to create the API also. So here we have this code. We will create it later. So first we will see how to create the ingest function. To create the ingest function, first we have to import this ingest that we have created here, as you can see here. Then we can create any function using this .create function method, where we have to provide the ID, event, and then we will pass the asynchronous function where we will receive the event from the ingest. So let's create this function that will help us to fetch the user from Clerk. For that, we will come back to the Clerk dashboard, and in this webhook section we have to select this ingest from this drop down menu, and first we have to connect the ingest account. So just click on this button, then I'll click on this approve button. Now you can see we have this URL after we are connected to ingest. Now simply click on this create button. So our Clerk webhooks has been configured. After that, we will come back to the VS Code editor, and here we will create multiple functions to manage our Clerk webhooks. So first we will create a function that will help us to sync the user creation. For that, here we will add one comment. So I'm writing ingest function to save user data to a database. After that, here we will create a variable. So just write export const, and the variable name will be sync user creation. So I'm writing the function name sync user creation equal to ingest dot create function property. In this property, first we have to provide one object where we will define the ID. So in this ID, simply write sync user from Clerk. After that, we will add another object, and here we will provide the event name that we want to handle. For that, here we will add the event, and then we have to provide the event name. So our event name is Clerk/user.created. So when we have added the webhook using ingest in the Clerk platform, then we have provided the name that is Clerk. So every event that we will receive from Clerk will be added after this path Clerk/. So if I receive user created event, then we will get it at clerk/user created. After that, here we have to provide one handler function. For that, we will use the async and we will create the arrow function. In this arrow function, we will get the event. So to destructure the event, we are adding curly braces and provide the event. Now if I come to this testing and if I click on this drop down and select any event like user.created that we are handling here. So in this event we will get one object, that is data, and in this data we have all the information required to create a user. So if I scroll, here we have the first name that contains the user's first name. Then we have the image URL that will provide the profile image of user, then last name. Then we have this email addresses, that is an array, and in this one we will get the email ID of user. Suppose user has multiple email ID, then in this array we will get multiple email IDs. So we will use this data to save the user in the database. For that, in this arrow function, first we have to destructure the properties of user that we will get. So first we need the ID property, then we need the first name. So let me just copy this first name from here, add it here. After that we need the last name. Copy the last name from here, add it here. Then we need the email addresses. So select this email addresses, copy and paste it here. After that we need the image URL. So let's copy this image URL, paste it here. So we will get these property from the event data. So just add equal to event dot data. So now we have the data of any user, and using this data we will create a object where we will define the user data. Then we will store that object in the database. For that, let's create one variable with the name user data, that is an object, and here we will add underscore ID property, and in this one we will provide the ID that we are getting from the event. After that, here we will add email property, and in this one we will provide the email addresses. This is an array, so in that case we will provide the index 0, and after that we will use dot email address property. So if I come here, in this email addresses we have the object. Here we have this email address property, so just copy it from here and we will paste it here. After that we have to provide the name. So let's add the name property, and in this name property we will store the user's full name. To add the full name, here we will write first name, then we will concatenate the space. With that we will add last name. That will provide us the full name that will be stored in this name property. After that we have to add the image URL, and in this image URL property simply provide this image URL that we are getting from this event. Now we have created this user data and we have provided the user data according to the model that we have created here. We have the underscore ID, name, email, and the image URL property, and in this cart items will be created by default. Now we will save this data in the database. To save the data, here we have to call connectdb function that we will get from database file. So just click here, so it will import this file, and after that call this function. So it will help us to initialize the connection of the database. After that, here we will add await. Then we will add user model. So just click here. So user model has been imported. Then we'll add .create method. In this one, we have to simply provide the user data, and the user will be created here. So here we have successfully created the function that will help us to sync the user creation in our MongoDB database. After that, we will create one more function that will help us to sync the user updation. Suppose user created an account and then the user changes any details, like they update the profile picture or update their email ID. In that case, we will update our database also. For that, here we will add the comment, that is ingest function to update user data in database. After that, here we will create one variable. So write export const sync user updation equal to ingest.create function. And in this one, we will provide one object where we will define the ID. And in this ID, we will provide update user from Clerk. After this object, here we will create one more object, and here we will add event, that is Clerk/user updated. In this function, we will handle this event that we will get from Clerk. And here we will get the asynchronous arrow function. So write async and create the arrow function. In this one, we will destructure the event. So write event. Now just copy the code from the previous function and paste it here. We will paste the same code. After that, here we will write await connect db, and after that we will add await, and here we will use the user model dot find by id and update method, find by id and update, and we have to pass two parameters, that is id. By using it, we will find the user and provide the latest user data that we will get from Clerk. So here we have added the ID and user data. So whenever the event is called, then the user data on the database will be updated. Similarly, we will create one more function. For that, here we will write one comment, that is ingest function to delete user from the database. After that, here we will create one variable. So just write export const sync user deletion equal to ingest dot create function, and in this one we have to provide one object where we will provide the ID, and here we will provide the ID, that is delete user with Clerk. Here we have to provide the event. So let's add the object and write event property. Then we will add Clerk/user deleted. After that, here we have to add the asynchronous function. So just add async, create this arrow function. Here we have to add the curly braces, and here we will destructure the event that we will receive from Clerk. Now in this one, first we have to get the user ID. So just write const curly braces ID equal to event dot data. After getting the ID, here we will write await, then write connect db, and we will call this function. Then we will add await, and here we will use user model dot find by id and delete method, and here simply provide the id that we are getting from the event data. So all these three functions are ready. Next, we have to create a route using these functions. For that, first we will save the changes and then come to app folder, and in this one we will create a new folder with the name API. In this API folder, we will create all our APIs for our Next.js e-commerce project. So first we will create the endpoint for this Inngest. For that, in this API folder, let's create a new folder with the name Inngest. In this folder, we will create a new file and write the file name route.js. If I come back to the web browser and open this Inngest guide, so here you can see to create the API endpoint, we have this code. So just copy this code and we have to paste it in route.ts or js file. So just come here in this route.js file that we have just created and we will paste this code. If I come here, you can see we are importing this ingest from this folder. So let me remove this path, and here we have to provide @config folder /ingest file. Now we will get this ingest from this ingest file. Now in this function, as you can see here, we have to add one array, and in this array we have to add all our functions that we want to handle using the ingest. So if I come here you can see we have to create one function, and after that we can add the function directly in this array. So let's come back to the VS Code, remove this comment, and here we will add the sync. We are getting all the suggestion for all our functions: user creation, user deletion, and user updation. So let's add all these functions one by one. So first we'll add sync user creation. If I click here, this function has been imported automatically. After that, we'll add the comma and write the another function, that is sync user updation. Then add the comma and add the another function, sync user deletion. So we have added all these three functions. Now save the changes, and after adding it, we will come to this source control icon, then click on initialize repository. Just click on this button, and here we will add the message, that is first commit. After that, we will click on this commit button. Then we have to upload this code on GitHub platform. So just click on this publish branch, and here we have two suggestions: publish to private repository or public. So let me choose this private repository. So it is uploading our files on GitHub. Now you can see our code has been deployed on GitHub. Now let's open this, open on GitHub. Now you can see this project has been uploaded on our GitHub profile with the name Quick Cart. After that, we will open Vercel. Here we will click on this login button. Then select continue with GitHub, and from here we will add a new project. And here you can see we have the option for our repository. So just click on this import button in front of Quick Cart, and after that, here we have to add the project name. So this is correct, Quick Cart. And here we will open the environment variables, and we will provide all the environment variables that we have created in our project. So we will come back to the VS Code editor. From here we will open File Explorer.env file, and we will copy the environment variables here. So let's select all these environment variables, just copy and we will paste it here. After that, we will click on this deploy button. So it will start deploying our project on Vercel. Now you can see we have the message congratulations, and here we have this website preview. Then click on continue to dashboard button, and here we will get one domain name. Using that we can access our project. So let me just copy this link, and we have to come to this Inngest cloud, then click on this apps, and then click on sync new app, and here we have to provide the app URL, and after that we have to add /API/ingest, then click on sync app button. So here we have the message synced app, and here we have framework Next.js, platform Vercel, language JavaScript, and here we have the success badge, and here in this last sync we have the success message. Now you can see in this function list we have all the 3 functions that we have listed, and if I trigger these event, then this function will be called with the event data. So to test this logic, first we have to come to our website, and from here let me delete the account. So I'll click on manage account, security, delete account, and here we have to write this message delete account and click on button. Now our account has been deleted, and if I come to Inngest platform and open this run tab, now you can see here we have one event, that is Clerk/user deleted. So it is saying running, and here you can see we have some error. So you can see the attempt gets failed. So to fix it, let's come back to the MongoDB database, and here we have created one cluster, but here we have to assign the network access also. So here first we will delete this IP address, and after that we will add the new IP, and here we'll click on this allow access from anywhere, then click on this confirm button. Now our database can be accessed from any IP address. Let's wait for this status to be updated. Now you can see the status active. Then we will come to this Vercel website, then come to deployments. In this deployments, we will click on this 3 dot and create deployment, and we will deploy our project again because we have changed the database configuration. Just click on this create deployment, and now you can see it is redeploying our project. So it will take some time to deploy our Next.js project. Just wait for a few seconds. After project has been redeployed, now just come back to the ingest run and just click on this rerun button. Now you can see for this user event, the status is completed. Now the user will be deleted from the database also. Now let's come back to the website again, and from here, if I try to create a new account, let's click on continue with Google. We will click on the email ID and click on continue. Now our account has been created, right? We are logged in on our website, and if I open the Inngest dashboard and if I refresh this run tab, Now you can see a new event has been triggered, that is clerk/user.created. So you can see the event is successfully executed. And after that, if I come to MongoDB database, click on clusters, then go to browse collections, and from here we can see the database. So here we have the database, that is quick cart, and then we have the users collection, and in this users collection we have one new user that is stored on our database. So our Clerk webhooks and the Inngest event management is working fine. After that, we will come back to the VS Code editor, and here we will come to context, app context, and here if you see, here we have created one user state, that is seller. By using this state, we will add the permission for the user to access the seller dashboard. As you can see, for now this seller dashboard can be accessed by any user. So here we will add one role based authentication for the seller. For that, if I come here you can see we have one function fetch user data that will help us to fetch the user data from the API. Till now we have not created the API to fetch the user data. So when we will create the API to fetch the user data, at that time in this function we will also check if the user metadata contains the role seller, then only we will display this seller dashboard option. Suppose if I make it false and save the changes, now you can see that seller dashboard option has been removed. And if I come to Clerk dashboard, and from here we will come to this users, and till now we have only one user. So let's select the user that you want to make seller. So here we have the metadata property, and in this public we will add one property, that is role, and here we will add the role seller like this. After that we will click on this save button, and then come back to the app context.jsx file, and in this one, while fetching the user data, here we will add one check using the if statement, and here we will check if we have the user.public metadata, user.public metadata.role, and if it is equal to seller. In that case only we will set is seller true. And if we don't have the public metadata role seller, in that case we will keep it false. Now if I save the changes and come back to the web browser and reload this web page, here we are getting one error, cannot read property of undefined public metadata, right? So just come to this function where we are calling the fetch user data in this use effect. So here in the dependency array we will add user, and in this use effect we will add one if statement, and here we will check user. If we have the user, in that case only we will call this function fetch user data. After that we will come to this function fetch user data, and let's wrap it with try catch block. So let's remove it from here, and here we will add the try catch block, and we will paste this logic in the try block. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. Now you can see here we have the seller dashboard option. So if you want to give the permission of seller dashboard to any user, then you have to add the public metadata and define the role seller so that the user can become a seller. So we have added the logic to display the seller dashboard option. After that we will create the API that will help us to fetch the user data, and we will save the user data in this user data state. For that we will come to this API folder, and in this API folder we will create a new folder. So right click on this one and select new folder. Here we will name the folder, that is user, and in this user folder we will create one more new folder and write the folder name data. In this data folder we will create a new file, that is route.js. Here we will create one API that will help us to fetch the user data. For that, here first we have to create one asynchronous arrow function. So write export async function, and we will name the function, that is get. And in the parameter we will get the request. So let's remove this params, and here we will get the request. And here we will add the try catch block. And in this try block, first we have to get the user ID. To get the user ID, we will write const curly braces, and here we will provide user ID. Here we will get this user ID using this get auth method. So we are getting this suggestion get auth, just click on this one, and in this one we have to pass the request that we will get from front end part. After that, if you see here, we have to remove this /dist, and after this Next.js we will add /server. So we will get this get auth function from Clerk, Next.js and server package. Now we have the user ID. Then we have to fetch the user details using this user ID. For that we will add await. We will use the MongoDB database. So first we have to establish the connection. So we will write await connect db, and here we will call this function. After that, here we will write const user equal to await, and here we will use user model. So we are getting this suggestion user from models folder. So just click on this second line, so it will import this models from our files. After that, here we will use find by id method, and in this one we have to provide the user ID that we are getting from this get auth and request. After that, here we will add the if statement, and here we will check if the user is available or not with this user ID. So let's add not user, and if we don't have any user, in that case we will return a response. So to return the response, we will write a return statement, and after that we will use next response to send the response. So just click on this next response. We will get it from next/server package. After that, here we will use the JSON method to send the response, and in this one we have to provide the object that will contain success property false, and then we will add the message that is user not found. And suppose we have the user, in that case here we will add the return statement, and here we will send one response using JSON method, and here we will provide success property true. With that, we will also provide the user data that we are getting from this database. Suppose we got any error in this try block, then the catch block will be executed. So in that case, simply return one response. So just copy this line and we will paste it here, and here in this message we will write error dot message. So our function is ready that will help us to fetch the user data. Now we will integrate this API with our front-end part. For that, we will come to this app context.jsx file, and in this file first we have to get the get token method. So if I write const get token, equal to use auth, and here we are using this use auth hook that will return us the get token method, and by using this get token method we can create multiple token for authentication with our Next backend. We have to pass this get token function in this value object so that we can use it in any other files. So we will add get token and comma. Now to create the API calls, we need the Axios package. So first we have to install the package. So let's stop this project, and here we will write npm install Axios. We can write npm I also. So this package has been installed. Then we'll run the project using npm run dev, and let's minimize this terminal. And if I come here, fetch user data. So in this one we are getting the data from the user dummy data. So instead of this one, we will get the data from API. So first we will generate one token. So just add const token equal to await, and here we will use get token method that we have destructured here. After getting this token, here we will call the API. To call the API, here we will write const curly braces data, and here we have added the data and we are destructuring the data because in the Axios response we will get one property, that is data, that contains the response data. So we have destructured this data object. After that, here we will write await, and here we will use this Axios package. So just click here. So it will import the Axios package. After that, we will use the .get method, and here we have to provide the endpoint of our API, that is /API/user/data. As you can see here, the API folder we have this user, then data folder, and in this data folder we have this route.js. So here we have to add the headers. So we will add the curly braces, and in this one we will provide headers, and in this headers we will add the object where we will add the authorization property, and in this one we have to provide the token. To provide the token we will use template literal, and let's add the backticks, and here we will add bearer $sign curly braces, and we will provide this token that we have generated here. After that, we will get one data as a response. So here we will check the response. So if the data.success property is true, in that case we will get the user data, right? So just add set user data function and provide data.user. Now we can remove this statement from here, and if I come to this models folder, open user.js model. So here you can see in the user data we have this cart items property also. So whenever we get the user data, then we will get the cart items data also. So after setting this user data, here we will also set the cart items data. For that, we will add set cart items, and we will provide data.user.cart items. Now suppose if we get data.success false, in that case here we will add the else statement, and in this else statement we will add toast notification. So we have already installed this package React Hot Toast that will help us to send the toast notification. So just click here, it will import this toast function, then we'll add .error, and in this one we will provide data.message. Now suppose if we get any error in this try block, then let's copy this toast error line and paste it in this catch block, and instead of data.message we will add error.message. So now our logic is ready to call the API. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. If I reload this web page and if I click on this inspect tab and if I go to network and just select this fetch and reload this web page. As you can see here we have one data, right? And if I see the headers, here we have called this localhost port 3000/API/user/data. Then we are getting the status code 200 and in the response we are getting success true, and in the user property we have the user details. In the user details we have this cart items also. So this API is working fine. After that we will create the API for seller so that the seller can add the product. They can display the product list here and they can track the order in this orders page. So first we will create the API to add the product in our database. So if I click on this icon and select any image, then if I click on add button, this all data will go to API handler function, and in the API handler function first we need to store these images on cloud platform so that we can access the images later. So to upload the images on cloud platform we are going to use cloudinary. So first we need to set up the cloudinary. So let's search for cloudinary and open this website cloudinary.com. Then click on this login button, and if you don't have account you can create an account here using this sign up button. I'll continue with Google. After login, just go to dashboard, and from here we will get the option go to API keys, and here we have already created multiple API keys for different project. For this project we will generate a new key, so just click on this button, generate new API key. Now we will receive one email confirmation code on our email. So we have to provide the code here. Now you can see here we have received this code. So let me just copy this and paste it here. Then click on approve button. So a new entry has been created. Here we will add the key name. So let me write quick cart. After providing this name, here you can see we have this cloud name, then we have the API key, then we have the API secret. So we will copy all these key one by one and we will paste it in environment variable. So just copy the cloud name and we will come back to the VS Code and we will open .env file, and here we have this cloud name, right? So let's paste the cloud name that we have just copied. After that, let's copy this API key and we will come back to the VS Code and paste it here in this API key. After that, let's copy this API secret and paste it here in this environment variable cloudinary API secret. Now save the changes and we have all these three: cloud name, API key and API secret. By using the cloudinary we will create the API. So first we have to install the cloudinary package. So open the terminal, stop the project and write npm I cloudinary. So the package has been installed. Now we can run the project using npm run dev and hide this terminal. After that we will come to API folder, and in this API folder let's create a new folder. So right click and select new folder and we will name the folder product. In this product folder we will create a new folder and write the folder name. add. Again click on this product folder and create a new folder and write the name list. Again click on this product folder, select a new folder and write the folder name seller list. So here in this product folder we have the three endpoints, that is add, list and seller list. So in this add folder, let's create a new file with the name route.js. In this file, we have to configure the cloudinary. To configure the cloudinary, first we will import v2. So we are getting this as an v2 cloudinary. We will click on this one and here we will write v2 as cloudinary. After that we will add the comment, that is configure cloudinary, and here we will use this cloudinary dot config method, and in this one we have to provide cloud name, and in this cloud name we will provide the environment variable, that is cloudinary cloud name. For that we will write process.env dot and provide the environment variable name. So just copy from this environment variable, copy this name, that is cloudinary cloud name, copy and paste it here, add the comma, and here we will add API key and again add process.env dot and provide this cloudinary API key, paste it here, again add comma and write API secret, and we will add process.env then dot, and we will provide this variable name cloudinary API secret, copy and paste it here. After adding it, here we will create one asynchronous arrow function. So write export async function and the function name will be post. This will handle the post request on this API. Let's remove this params here, and here we will get the request. After that, here we will add the try catch block, and in this try block first we need the user ID. So let's write const user ID equal to get auth, and we have to import this get auth manually. So just add import curly braces get auth, and we will import it from at clerk/nextjs/server. In this one we have to pass the request so that we will get the user ID, and after that here we have to check if the user is seller or not. So if I come back to the web browser and go to home page, for this user we have enabled the seller dashboard by adding the public metadata role seller. So here we have to verify that this user is seller or not. To verify that, we have to create a function where we will provide the user ID and it will return the user is seller or not. So if I come to root folder, here we have .lib folder, and here we have created this auth_seller.js file that we have not used till now. So in this one, let me explain this code. Here we have imported the color client from the package, and here we have imported next response from next/server. And if we provide the user ID in this parameter, then it will fetch the user data using this client. And here we are checking if the user.public_metadata.role is seller. In that case, it will return true, and if it is false, it will return false. So we will use this function to authenticate the user is seller or not. So simply again come back to the route.js file in this add folder, and here we will write const is seller equal to await, and here we will call auth seller function from the lib folder, so it has been imported, and in this one we have to provide the user ID, and it will return is this user is seller or not. Suppose this user is not seller, in that case we will add the if statement, and here we will add is seller not, and if the user is not seller, in that case we will return a response. So let's write return, and here we will use next response .json method, and here we will add the object and define success property false, and here we will write the message property, and in this message property we will write a message that is not authorized. Now suppose this user is seller, in that case we will get the form data from the request. So let's write const form data equal to await, and here we will get the form data from the request. So here we will use request.formData. So whenever we will send the products data, it contains the images, name, description and other details. So we will send this details using the form data from the front end. That's why we are getting the form data from the request. From this form data, we have to extract all the details like name, description, category, price, offer price, and the images file for product. For that, here we will write const name equal to form data dot get method, and here we will provide the field name. Similarly, we will get the description from form data, and the field name will be description. Then we will get the category from form data and add the category field name. Similarly, we will get price form data dot get price. Then we will get the offer price. So let's write offer price equal to form data dot get, and the field name is offer price. Now we have to get the image files from the form data. For that, here we will write const files equal to form data dot get all, and here we will use this images field name. Now we will check if we have the files in this variable. Then we will continue, and if we don't have the files in this form data, in that case we will return a response with success false. For that, here we will write the if statement, and the condition will be if we don't have the files or files dot length is 0. In that case, we will return a response. So just copy the response from here and we will paste it here, and the success will be false and the message will be no files uploaded. Suppose if we have the images files in this variable, then we will upload these images one by one on the cloudinary platform. So just add const result equal to await, and here we will use promise dot all method, and in this one we will add files dot map method, and in this map method we will pass one asynchronous arrow function. So let's write async, and here we will pass the arrow function. Now in this map method, we will pass the individual file, and then we will upload the file on cloudinary and save the URL in this result. So here, using this file, we have to create the array buffer. For that, just write const array buffer equal to await, and here we will use this file dot array buffer method, and after that we will get the array buffer of this file. By using this array buffer, we will create the normal buffer. So let's write const buffer equal to buffer interface, and here we will use dot from method, and in this one we will provide the array buffer. After adding this, we will return a new promise. So just add return new promise, and in this promise we will pass the arrow function, and in this arrow function we will get the parameter that will be resolve or reject. In this promise, here we will create one variable with the name stream, and in this stream we will use cloudinary dot uploader dot upload a stream. So we will select upload a stream, and in this one we have to define the resource type. So just write resource type, and here we will add auto. After that, here we will add arrow function, and in this one we will get the parameter that will be array or result. Here we will create this arrow function. In this upload stream, we have added the first parameter, that is resource type auto, and in the second parameter we are using this arrow function. And if we get any error during upload of this image, then we will receive one array, or if I don't get any error, in that case we will receive this response result. So here we will write the if statement, and here we will check if we get any error. In that case we will call this reject, and in this parameter we will pass our error. Else we will add resolve, and in this parameter we will pass the result. After this bracket, here we will add a stream dot end, and here we will add the buffer. So it will close this stream that we have created here. After running this promise, we will get all the responses in this result variable. So we have to extract the image URL from this result. For that, here we will write const image equal to result dot map, and in this one we have to pass the individual result, and here we will return result dot secure URL, and after that we have all the data. We have the product name, description, category, price, offer price, and then we have this image that is uploaded on the cloudinary platform. After that, we have to save the product data in the database. For that, first we have to create a product model. So let's open the models folder, and here we will create a new file and write the file name product.js. In this file, first we have to import the Mongoose package. So write import Mongoose from Mongoose. After that, here we will create one variable where we will store the product schema. So let's write const product schema equal to new mongoose dot schema constructor. In this one we will add the object, and in this object we will define the structure of our product model. So first we will create one property, that is user ID, and then we will write the type a string required true, and here we will add one reference of our user model. After that we will add the name property, where we will add the type a string required true. After that, here we will add the description property, and the type will be string, and here also we will add required true. After that we will add the price, type will be number, required true. Then we will add the offer price, type will be number, and here we will add required true. Then we will add the image property, and the type will be array, and here we will add required property true. Then we will add category, and in this category we will add the type a string and write required true. And at last we will add the date property, where we will add the type number and the required will be true. So we have created the schema for our product. Using this schema we will create the model. So just add the variable with the name product, and first we will check if we have this mongoose.models and .product. If we have the product model available in the models, then we will use it, or we will create a new model using this product schema. So let's add mongoose.model, and in this one we will add the model name, that is product. After that we will add the product schema. So now the model is ready. Next we have to export this model from this file so that we can use it in another file. So write export default and write our model name, that is product. So now the model is ready. Save the changes and come back to this route.js file that is under this product and add folder. So after getting the image link in this array, we have to save the product in the database. For that, first here we will connect with our database. So just write await connect db, and we will call this function. After that we will create our new product. For that, let's create one variable, that is new product, and here we will write await, and we will use the product model. So let's write product, and we will select it from here. It will be imported from models folder product file. So it has been imported. After that, here we will add .create method, and in this create method we will add one object where we will define the user ID, and then we will add the name, description, then category, then we will add the price property. While getting the data using form data, the number will be converted into a string. So here we have to convert the string into number. So here we will add this number interface, and in this one we will provide our price, that is the string. So it will convert a string to number. After that we will add the offer price, and in this one also we will add number interface, and here we will add the offer price. After that we will add the image array. Then we will add the date property, and in this one we have to provide the timestamp. So to get the timestamp, simply write date.now. After this statement, our product will be stored in the database. After that we have to send one response. So we will use the return, and after this return we will add next response .json, and in this JSON method, here we will add one object where we will define the success property true. With that we will add the message where we will provide the message upload successful. Then we will also return the new product data. Suppose we get any error in this try block, then the catch block will be executed. So we will send the response. So just copy the response from here and paste it here in this catch block, and here we will add success false, and in the message we will write error.message. So our API is ready to add a new product in the database. Now we will integrate this API with our front-end part. So we will come to this folder, app, then go to seller folder, and here we have this page.jsx where we have created this component add product. So now we'll add the logic. Using that, we can send the data to our backend, and then we will upload the product in the database. So in this file, first we have to get the getToken method from our app context. So just write const curly braces, and in this one we will destructure the getToken function, and we will get it from use app context. Make sure to import this use app context from this location. Now come to this handle submit function, and here we will call the API. But before that, let's see how we are getting these field data on these state. So if I come here, we have the input field, and in this one we have added the onChange property. So whenever the field's value gets changed, then the value will be stored in these state. And using this state, we will create a form data, and we will send the form data as a body in the API call. For that, here we will write const form data, and we will create a form data using this new form data. We have to add these data in the form data. For that, we will add the form data dot append, and in this method we have to provide two parameters. So the first will be field name and the second one will be value. So write the field name, then write the value name, that is the name state. Similarly, we will create 5 copies of this statement, and the second one will be description. Here also we will add the description state. Here we will add the category. Field name will be category. In the next one we will add price, and the field name is also price. Let's add the offer price, and the field name is offer price. So we have added these data in the form data. Next we have to add the images in the form data. So if I come back to the front end part, then go to seller dashboard. As you can see, from here we can choose any image, and this image will be selected. And if I select another image, let me select 3 images. After selecting these images, all 3 images will be stored in this files array. So from this files array, we will add these images in the form data one by one. For that, we will use a for loop. So let's add the for loop. Here we will create the variable, that is index. We will start the index from 0, and here we have to provide files.length. After that, let's remove this statement from here, and in this one we will add the form data dot append method, and in this one we will add the field name, that is images, and in this images field name we will add the files, and here we have to provide the index, so that if I select 3 images, then the for loop will be executed for 3 times, and all 3 images will be stored in this field name images. After that, we have added all the data in the form data. Next we have to call the API. So just write const, and we will add the curly braces. We will write data. So we will destructure the data property from the response. After that, we will add the await axios dot, and here we will use the post method. in the first parameter we have to add the API endpoint. So here we will write /API/product/add. After that, here we will add the form data, and after this form data we have to add one headers, and in this headers we have to add a token. So first we need to generate the token. So let's add the try catch block here, and in this try block we will add one variable with the name token, and here we will write await, then write get token method that will return us a token. And after that, here we will make the API call in this try block. So let's move it from here and paste it here. In the API call we have added the form data, and here we have to provide the headers. So we will add the headers property, and in this one we will add the object where we will define the authorization property, and in this authorization property we will add the template literal. Here we have to add bearer, then we will add the token that we have generated here. So here we will add $ curly braces, and in this one we will add the token. So after this API call we will get the response. So in this response we will check if the data.success property is true. In that case we will display a toast notification. So let's add toast.success, and in this one we will provide data.message. After getting this message we will reset these fields. So to reset these fields we will write set files empty array, set name empty string, set description empty string, set category, and here we will add the category earphone, set price empty string, then set offer price empty string. After this if statement, here we will add the else statement, and in this one we will write toast.error and then write data.message. After that, if any error occur in this process, then the catch block will be executed. So here we will write toast.error, and in this one we will provide the error.message. So our component is ready to add a new product. Save the changes and come back to the web browser. So let me refresh this web page, and here we will select one image. So let me select this image, and after that we will add the product name. So let me add the product name, testing name, then we will add the product description. So let's add testing description. Then we will add the category, that is earphone. Then we will add the product price $199 and the offer price will be $149, and click on the add button. So here we are getting the notification in red color. So let me just come back, and here we will correct the spelling of success, data.success. Save the changes and come back to the web page. Again click on this add button. So now you can see the success message, upload successful. And if I come back to the database to see the product, so if I come to the database clusters, and here we have to refresh this data. So here we have this products. Just open this, and in this one you can see we have the product with the name, description, price, offer price, and here we have the image array where we have the image URL. Let me open this URL in the web browser. So you can see the same image that we have uploaded. So this add product feature is successfully working, and we are able to add the product whenever the user is seller, and we can set this seller permission using this Clerk user option. Then we have to select any user that you want to make seller, and then we will add the public metadata role seller. After that, again come back to the seller dashboard and come to this product list, and here we have this dummy data that is coming from the assets. So we will create the API to fetch the seller product. For that, we will come back to the VS Code editor and we will come to API folder, and in this products folder we have this seller list. So in this seller list folder, let's create a new file and write the file name route.js. So in this file, first we have to create a function. So we will write export async and create the function and write the function name get, and in the parameter we will take the request. After that, here we will add the try catch block, and here we have to get the user ID from the request. So just write const user ID. We will get this ID using this get auth method. So we are getting the function from this package, so we don't need this function from this package. We will import it manually. So just write import curly braces get auth, and we will import it from at Clerk / nextjs / server. Now in this one, here we will provide the request that we are getting from the parameter, and it will return our user ID. After that, we will check if this user is seller or not. So just add const and create the variable seller is equal to auth seller and import it using this library auth seller. And after that, we will add the user ID. So it will return this user is seller or not. So then we'll add the if statement, and here we will add if is seller is false. In that case, we will return one response. For that, we will write return, then use next response. We will click on this suggestion, so it will get imported. Then we will add .json method, and here we will add the success false, and we will add the message, and in the message we will write not authorized. Suppose this user is seller, then we will get all the product data from the database, and then we will send the product data in the response. So just write const products equal to await, and here we will use the product model, and in this product model we will use the find method, and in the find method we will add the curly braces so that we can get all the product data. After that, we have to create a response. So write return next response .json, and in this one we will add the object where we will define the success property that will be true, and then we will add products data, that is an array that we are getting from this statement. After that, here we have to add await connect DB function. If we get any error in this try block, then the catch block will be executed, and in that case we will send one response. So here we will write return next response.json and provide the success property false, and in the message we will provide the error.message. So our API is ready to fetch the seller product. Save the changes, and we will come back to the front end part. So here we have the seller folder, and if you see here we have the product list folder, then page.jsx file. So in this one we have created functions fetch seller product, and we are setting the dummy product data. So here we will call the API, then we will set the product that we will receive from our API. So first we will get the get token method from context, then we will get the user from our context, and in this function let's remove this statement, and here we will add the try catch block. In this try block, first we will generate a token using this get token method. For that, here we will write const token equal to await, and here we will use the get token method. After that, here we will write const curly braces, and here we will add the data equal to await, and here we will use the axios package dot get method, and in this method we have to provide the API endpoint in the headers. So first we will add the string, that is /API/product/seller list. So here we have added the seller list. After that, here we have to provide the header. So here we will add the curly braces headers, and in this one we will add the object where we will define the authorization property, and in this one we will add the backticks bearer. Then we will add the $sign curly braces, and in this one we will add the token that we have generated here. After that, we will check the response. So we will add the if statement, and we will check if the data.success is true. In that case, we will receive all the seller product. So we will use this setter function set products, and in this one we will provide the data.products. With that, we will call the set loading, and in this one we will provide false. Now suppose if the data.success is false, in that case we will add the else statement, and in this else statement we will add the toast with the type error, and here we will add the data.message. If we get any error in this process, then the catch block will be executed. So here we will display a toast notification with the type error, and here we will provide the error.message. Here we are calling this function directly when this page reloads. So in this dependency array we will add one dependency, that is user, that we will get from the context, as you can see here. So when we have the user, then only we will call this function. So here in this use effect function we will write if statement, and here we will check if we have the user. In that case only we will call this function. So let's move it here. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. If I reload this web page, now you can see one loading screen, and then we have the product details like product name, category, price, and here we have the action button that we can use to visit this product on front end. So for now this button will not work. So when we will integrate all the API with our front end, then we will make it work. So if I come to add product, and if I add product from here, then we will get the product list here. So now we will add all the products one by one from our assets file to our database. To do that, we will come to assets file, and if I open assets.js file, scroll down, here you can see we have this products dummy data. So open this one, and if I come here, we have the user ID, name, description, and all the properties to add the product. So we will copy the name from here and we will paste it here, product name. Then we will copy the description, then paste it here. Then we will provide the price. Here we will provide the price. Then we will copy the offer price. We will paste it here. And in this folder, we will open the assets file, and here we have images. So to add the image, let's zoom in this page and we will select the images one by one. We will select this image. So here we have added all 4 images for this product and click on the add button. Now you can see the notification upload successful, and if I open product list, here you can see our product has been listed here. Similarly, we will upload all the products in our database. So now I have added all the products in our product list, as you can see here. After that, we will come back to the home page, and if I see this web page, you can see these data is coming from the assets, right? So we will create the API that will help us to fetch the product from the database, and then we will display the product on this home page, and we will also display it on this shop page, all products page. To do that, we will come back to the VS Code editor. Let's close this assets, and from this left sidebar we will go to API, then list, and in this list folder we will create a new file, that is route.js, and here we will create the logic to fetch all the product from our database, and we will send the product data in the response. So we will come to seller list, and from here we will copy this entire code, and we'll come to this route.js file and paste the entire code here, and from here we have to remove the seller verification. So let's remove the seller verification from here, and after that we will remove this unused import. So we will remove this line. So here the logic is simple. We have to connect to database, then we will find all the product, and then we will send the product data in the response. So this API should work now. Now let's come back to the app context.jsx file, and if I see here we have the function that is fetch product data, and here we are getting the data from the products dummy data that is available in the assets file. So from here we will remove this statement, and here we will make the API call to get the data for the front end. So in this function we will add the try catch block, and here we will write const curly braces data equal to, and here we will add the await, then axios.get method, and in this one we have to provide the endpoint, that is /API/product/list. After that, here we will add the if statement, and here we will check if the data.success property is true. In that case, we will call the setter function setProducts and provide the data.products. Suppose this data.success is false, in that case we will add the else statement, and here we will write toast notification. So just add toast.error, and let's add the data.message property that we will receive from the backend. If any error occurs in this process, then the catch block will be executed. So here let's copy this toast notification, and here we will add the error.message. So our function is ready. Let's save the changes and come back to the project homepage and reload this web page. Now you can see it takes some time to get the data, and if I reload the web page, here we have all the data from the API. To verify it, let's click on inspect, and let's open the network, then go to fetch request and reload this web page. Now you can see here we have the list API, and here we have received the product data, and we are calling this localhost port 3000/API/product/list. So this API is perfectly working. Now if I open any product and click on add to cart, so we are not getting any notification when we add the product into cart. So we will add the logic so that when we add any product in the cart, then we'll get the notification that product is added in the cart. So we will come back to the app context file, and here we have one function called add to cart. After setting the cart items, here we will add a toast notification with type success, and we will add the message item added to cart. Save the changes and come back to the web browser. Click on add to cart button. Now you can see we are getting the notification item added to cart, and if I click on buy now, It will also add the product to cart, and we will come to the cart page. And here, when we are changing the cart and click on the reload, then the cart data will be removed. So we will create a API that will save the cart data in the MongoDB database. If I open the users, in this user you can see we have this cart items, that is an object, and in this object we will store the cart data. So let's create the API. So we will come back to the VS Code, and here in this API folder we will create a new folder and write the folder name cart. In this cart we will create two API to save the cart data and to fetch the cart data. So we will create a new folder in this cart folder, then write the name get, and in this cart folder create a new folder with the name update. So first we will create the API for adding the product data in the cart. So in this update folder we will create a new file that will be route.js, and here we will create one asynchronous function. So we will write export async, and here we will write the function and write the function name post, and in this parameter we will get the request. Here we will add the try catch block, and in this try block first we have to get the user ID so that we can set the cart data in that particular user. So we will add the const curly braces, then write user ID equal to get auth. So we have to import this get auth manually. So we will add import curly braces get auth, and we will import it from @clerk/nextjs/server. In this one we will pass the request and we will get the user ID. After getting the user ID we have to get the cart data also, that we will send in the request body. To get the cart data we will write const curly braces, and here we will write cart data equal to await, and after that we will add the request.json. Now we have the user ID and updated cart data. Now we have to save this data in the database. For that we will add await connect db function. After connecting with database we have to fetch the user. So just add const user equal to await, and here we will use the user model. Make sure to import the model. Click here, so it will import this models/user. After that we will add user.findById method, and here we have to provide the user ID. After that we have to update the user cart item with this cart data. For that we will write user.cartItems equal to cart data. Then we will save the user. For that we will write user.save method. After saving the data we will send the response, so we will add next response, and here we will use .json method, and we will simply add the success true. And if we get any error in this try block, then in this catch block we will write next response.json method, and in this one we will add the object where we will define the success property, that is false. With that we will add the message property, and in the message we will add error.message. Our API is ready to update the cart data. Now we will save the changes, and let's create the route.js file in this get folder. So here we will write route.js, and here also we will create one function. So write export async function, and we will name the function get. In this params we will get the request, and here we will add the try catch block, in this try block, first we have to get the user ID. So we will write const curly braces user ID equal to get auth, and we have to import this from /nextjs/server, and in this one we will provide this request. After that, here we will add the await, and here we will call connectDB function. After that, here we will create a variable where we will store the user data. So just add const user equal to await, and here we will use the user dot. We are not getting the suggestion, so just import the user model. Let's click here, it will import the user model. Then we'll add dot find by id, and here we have to provide the user ID. Now we have the user data. Next we will send the cart items data from this user data. For that we will write const curly braces, and here we will get cart items from this user. After that we will create a response. For that we will write return next response.json, and in this one we will provide success true. Then we will simply return the cart items. We have to import this next response. Just click here, so it will import this next response. Here we have done mistake. This I should be capital. If we get any error in this process, then the catch block will be executed. So in this case, we will return a response using the JSON method. So write return next response.json, and in this one we will provide the success false, and in the message we will write error.message. So our API is ready to fetch the user's cart data and to update the cart data. After that we have to integrate these APIs with our front end. So we will come back to the app context, and here if you see, we have created this add to cart update cart quantity function. So now we'll add the functionality here, so that whenever a user update their cart or add an item to cart, then we will call the API to update the cart on the database also. For that, first come to this add to cart function, and after this toast.success we will add the if statement, and here we will check is user is logged in or not. So if the user is logged in, then only we will call the API to update our cart on the database. So first in this if statement we will add the try catch block, and in this try block first we have to generate the token. So let's write const token equal to await, and here we will call the get token method. After that we have to call the API. So we will add await axios.post method, and in this one we have to provide the endpoint, that is /API/cart/update. With this we will add the body, and in this body we have to send the cart data. After adding this cart data, here we will add the comma, and in this one we will add the headers in curly braces, and in this headers we have to provide authorization, and in this authorization we will provide the bearer and token. So just add the template literal using backticks, then write bearer $, curly braces, and here we will add the token that we have generated here. So API request is ready. After this API call, we will display the toast notification that the item is added to cart. So let me just remove this statement from here, and we will paste it here after this API call. Suppose we get any error in this try block, then the catch block will be executed. So here we will write toast.error, and in this one we will add the error.message. Similarly, we will copy this if statement from here and we will come to this update cart quantity, and here we will paste this entire code. And in this success message, we will add different message, that is cart updated. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. Let me reload this web page. Now you can see our cart is empty, and if I go to home page and let's open this product, click on add to cart. Here we are getting some error, request failed with a status code 500. So just come back to the VS Code, and here let's open the terminal. Here you can see we have one error. No response is returned from route handler update/route.js file. So let's open API cart, then update folder route.js file. Here before this next response we have to add the return. Just add this return, and here we will add the await. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. Reload this web page and click on add to cart. Now you can see item added to cart. After that, if I open the database and go to users and click on refresh button. So now you can see we have the cart items, and in this one we have one product ID, and for this product ID we have added the quantity 3. If I open our cart page, here you can see we have the quantity 3, and if I decrease it, now it is 2, and if I refresh this database, here you can see in this cart items we have this product ID and the quantity is 2. Now let's try to add one more product. Let's click on this projector, click on add to cart. Again come to the database and refresh it. Here you can see we have 2 items in the cart items. For this product we have the 2 quantity, for the another product we have 1 quantity. After that, if I open the cart page, if I try to reload this web page, still we have these cart items. This is because if I open the app context.jsx file, and in this fetch user data we have added the logic. If the data.success is true, then we will set the user data, and as well as we will set the cart items. So this logic is perfectly working. After that, here we have the option to select the address, but this address is dummy address coming from the assets file. So here we will create one API that will help us to store the address on the database, and when we will save the address from here, then we will get the option to select the address in this drop down. To create the API, we will come to our VS Code editor. Here we will come to API folder, then come to user folder, and in this user we will create a new folder with the name address, or let me add address. Let me add one more new folder in this user, and here we will add the name get address. So we have created 2 folders, add address, get address. So in this one we will create the API to add the address, and here we will create the API to fetch the user address using the user ID. Now just come to add address folder and create a new file and write the file name route.js. In this file, first we have to create a function. So write export async, and here we will create the function. We will name the function post. After that we will get the request in this parameter, and in this function we will add the try catch block. In this try block, first we will get the user ID, then we will get the address from the request body, and we will save the address in the database. To save the address, first we have to create a new model where we will define the structure of the user address. For that, save the changes and let's come to this models folder, and here we will create a new file and name the file address.js. In this file, first we have to import the mongoose. So we will import mongoose from mongoose package. After this import, we will create a variable to store the address schema. So write const address schema equal to new mongoose dot schema constructor. In this one we will add the object, and here we will add the first property that will be user ID, where we will store the user ID. The type will be a string, and then we will add the required true. After that, we will add the property full name. The type will be a string and required true. After that, we will add the property phone number, and in this one we will add the type a string, required true. Then we will add the pin code, and here we will add the type number, then required true. Then we will add area, and here we will add the type a string, required true. Now let's create another copy of this, and here we will provide the city. Then we will add a state. We will save the address in this format, and using this schema we will create a model. For that, we will write const address equal to mongoose dot models dot address or mongoose dot model, and here we will add the model name, that is address. With that, we will provide the address schema. Now the model is ready. Just export this model from this file. So write export default and add this address. Now we can use it in another file also. Now save the changes, close this file, and again come to this code that we are creating to add the address in the database. So in this try block, first we have to get the user ID. So let's write const curly braces user ID equal to get auth, and we will import this, import get auth from @clerk /nextjs /server. After that, we have to get the address from the request. So we will add const address await. Here we will write request.json. Now we have the user ID and address. Next we have to save it. So we will add await connect db function, and after connecting with the database, we will create a variable with the name new address equal to await, and here we will use the address model. Let's click on this. So it will import this address model. Here we will use .create method, and in this one we will add the object, and in this one we will use the spread operator. So let's add the address, and in this address we will add the user ID that we will get from the get auth method. For that, we have to provide the request also. So we have added it here. After adding this, here we have to create a response. So write return next response dot JSON method, and here we will provide the object. In this one, we will provide the success property true. Then we will add the message, that is address added successfully. With that, we will also add the new address in the response. Suppose we get any error in this process, then the catch block will be executed. In that case, we will return a response using the nextResponse.json method, and here we will provide the success property false, and the message will be error.message. Now this API is ready to add the user address in the database. Now we will create the API to get the user addresses. For that, here in this get address folder, we will create a new file that will be route.js, and in this file first we will create one asynchronous function. So here we will write export async function, and we will name the function get request, and in this parameter we have added request and created this function. Now in this one we will add the try catch block, and in this try block first we have to get the user ID, so we will add const curly braces and write the user ID, and we will get it from get auth method, and we will import this get auth from @clerk/nextjs/server. In this method we have to pass the request so that we will get the user ID, and after that we will call the connectDB function with await, and after calling it we have to fetch all the addresses of this user. For that we will write const addresses equal to await, and here we will write address model dot find method, and in this one we have to provide the object, and here we will add the user ID so that we will get all the addresses of this user ID. Now in this addresses array we will receive all the addresses. Next we have to create the response. For that, here we will write return nextResponse.json, and in this one we will add the object success true, and we will add this addresses array. We have to import this next response. So we are getting the suggestion, just click here, so it will automatically import this next response. Suppose if we get any error in this try block, then the catch block will be executed. So let me just copy the line from here and paste it here, and here we will send the response with success false, and here we will add the message, and in the message we will provide error.message. Save the changes. Now we have created these two API. Next we have to integrate these API with our front end. For that we will come to this add address page. We have the page.jsx file in this add address folder. In this one, here we have one on submit handler function. Here we will call the API and save the addresses in our database. So in this file, first we will get the get token and router from context. So write const curly braces get token and the router equal to use app context, and after this we will come to this on submit handler. If you see this, here we have the state, that is address, and in this one we are getting the field whenever the input field value will be changed. Here we have added on change and value, right? So here we have to call the API and save this address in the backend so that it will save the data in the database. For that we will add the try catch block, and in this try block first we have to create a token. So let's write const token equal to await, and here we will call the get token method. After that, here we will make the API call. So just add const curly braces data equal to await, then write axios dot post method, And in this one, we have to add the API endpoint, that is /API/user/add address. After that, here in this body tag, we will add the address, a state, and after that, here we will add the object where we will define the headers. And in this one, we will add the object where we will add the authorization property. And in this one, we will add the backticks, then write bearer, then write $ curly braces, and provide the token that we have generated earlier. So now our request is ready. After that, we will check the response. So we will use the if statement and we will check if the data.success property is true. In that case, here we will display a toast notification using success property, and here we will provide the data.message. With that, here we will send the users on cart page. For that, we will add router.push method, and in this push method we will add the path of our cart page, that is /cart. And if we get data.success false, in that case we will add the else statement, and here we will display a toast notification using the error property, and here we will add data.message. Now just copy it and paste it here in this catch block, and here instead of data we will add error.message. Now save the changes and come back to the web browser. If I reload this web page, after that, if I click on this add new address, and here we have to fill this fields. So let's add the name GreatStack, then add the phone number, then we will add the pin code. Here we will add any address, then we will add the city, and then we will add the state. Now let's right click and open the network tab, and now we'll click on this save address button. Now you can see we have the notification, and then if I open this API call, so in this one you can see we have the response where you can see success true, messages address added successfully, and here we have received the new address that we have just added. And after that, we are redirected to this cart page. If I click on this select button, so this data is dummy data. So in this order summary component, we will add the logic. Whenever this order summary component is loaded, then in this address data we will load the data from the API. To do that, we will come back to the VS Code editor, and here we will open components folder, and in this components folder, here we have order summary.jsx. Open this one, and here you can see we have already created one function, fetch user addresses, and here we are getting the address from the address dummy data available in the assets. So let's remove this line, and here we will make the API call that will help us to fetch the user addresses from the database. So we have to call the API in this function. For that, we will come here, and here we will get the get token method from the context so that we can generate the token. And after that, we will get the user, then we will get the cart items, and then we will get set cart items. So here we have the get token, user, cart items, and set cart items. Now in this function, first we will add the try catch block, and in this try block we will add const token equal to await, and here we will get the token using this get token method. After that, here we will write const curly braces, and we will add the data, and here we will write await, here we will use exeos.get method, and in this one we have to provide two parameters, that will be API endpoint and header. So first we will add the API endpoint, that is /API/user/get_address. After that, here we will add the headers property, and in this headers property we will add the object, and here we will provide the authorization, where we will add the template literal. So just add backticks and we will add the bearer. Then we will add $ curly braces, and here we will provide the token. After that, here we will add the if statement, and here we will check if the data.success property is true. In that case, we will get the user addresses, and here we will call set user addresses, and we will provide the data.addresses. After setting this address, here we will add the logic. So we will check if we have the data.addresses.length greater than 0. In that case, here we will call set selected address, and we will provide the data.addresses and index 0. So we will select one address by default if we have the address in this addresses. We have to write addresses here. After that, if we get data.success false, in that case here we will add the else statement, and in this else statement we will display a toast notification using error type. So just add toast.error data.message. Just copy this line and paste it here in this catch block, and here instead of this data we will add error.message. So here we have added the functionality that will help us to fetch the address data using the API. After that, here we will come to this section where we have created this use effect, and here we will add one if statement, and here we will check if we have the user, then only we will call this function. So just move it and provide it here in this if block, and in this dependency array we will provide this user. Suppose if the user is logged out, then this function will not be called, and whenever the user are logged in, then we will get the user and this function will be executed. Now we will save the changes and come back to the web browser. If I reload this web page, here we are getting this error, cannot read property of undefined. So just come back, and here you can see we have to provide addresses. Now we will save the changes and come back to the web browser. Again reload the web page. Here we have one address, and this address is selected by default. Now we will test this logic by adding a new address. So here we will add full name, that is GreatStack. In the phone number, let's add 029, then we will add the pin code 028, and here we will add the address. Let's add the city, state, and click on save address. So if I come here, you can see now we have two addresses. If I select this one got selected, and if I click on first one, the first one got selected. So this logic is perfectly working. Now we are able to save the addresses, and it will be added in the order summary component. After that, we will add the logic to place an order. To place an order, first we have to create a order model. So let's come back to the models folder, and in this one we will create a new file, that is order.js. In this file, first we have to import mongoose package from mongoose, and here we will create a variable with the name order schema. It will be new mongoose.schema, and in this one we will add the object, and here first we will add the property that will be user ID, and the type will be a string, required true, reference will be user. After that, here we will add one property, that is items. This will be an array, and in this array we will store the object, and in this object we will define the object structure. So in the object, first we will add product, and in this product we will add the type string, then required will be true, then we will add the reference of our product, that is product model. With that, here we will add the quantity property, and the type will be number, and it is also required true. After the items, here we will add the comma, and here we will add the property, that is amount, and the type will be number, and required will be true. After that we will add the address, and here we will add the type string. Here we will add the reference of address model, and here we will make it required true. After that we will add the status, and the status type will be a string and required true. And here we will add the default value for this status, that is order placed. After that we will add the date property, the type will be number, and we will make it required true. So we have created the schema for order. Now we will create the model. So to create the model, simply add const order equal to mongoose.models.order. Then we will add the or mongoose.model, then the model name order, then order schema. So we have created this model. Next we have to export this model from this file. So we will add export default, and here we will provide order model. Now we will save the changes, and let's come back to the API folder, and in this API folder we will create a new folder and write the folder name order. Now in this order folder we will create 3 folders. So in this order folder, let's create the first folder, that is create. Again in this order we will create new folder, and the folder name is list. Now let's create one more folder and write the folder name seller order. So we have created 3 folders, create, list and seller orders. Now we will create the API to create a new order. So in this create folder we will create a new file and write the file name route.js. In this file we will create one asynchronous function. So write export async function, and the function name will be post. In the parameter we will get the request, and here we will create this function. In this function we will add the try catch block, and in the try block first we have to get the user ID. For that simply write const. We will get the user ID from getAuth, and in this one we have to provide the request. Make sure to import this getAuth from Clerk/nextjs/server. After getting the user ID, we will get the address and item from the request. So simply write const address items equal to await request and .json. Now we have the user ID, address, items. Now we will add one if statement, and here we will check if we don't have the address or the item dot length is equal to 0. In that case we will return a response. So I'm writing return next response.json, and in this one we will add success false. Then we will add the message property and provide invalid data. From here we have to import this next response just click on this suggestion. So it will import this next response. So if we don't have the address or item length is 0, then we are returning the response with success false. And when we have the address and we have the items also, then we will create an order. But before creating an order, first we need to calculate the order price. So here we will add the comment calculate amount using items. To calculate the price, here we have to use the reduce method. So first we will create a variable with the name amount equal to await. Here we will use items.reduce method, and in this one we will pass one asynchronous function, and in this parameter we will get this parameter. After that, in this function, first we will fetch the product data using the product model, then we will add the amount in this amount variable. For that we will write const product equal to, here we will use the await product model dot find by id method, and here we will use item dot product, that is the product id. To use this we have to import the product model, so just click on this suggestion. So the product model has been imported. After finding the product, here we will return the previous value plus product dot offer price multiplied by item dot quantity. So in the item we have the quantity, and we will multiply this quantity with the product's offer price. Then we will add this in the previous value. After that we will get the amount in this amount variable. Here we will add the initial value, that will be 0. So the count will start from 0, and in the 0 it will add the product price and multiplied by quantity for all the product. Now we have the data like user ID, address, items, and here we have the amount also. Now we can create an order using this data. To create the order we will use the Inngest platform. So if I come here, we have this config folder, and here we have ingest.js file where we have created the ingest function. To create the order we will use this ingest function, where we get many options to manage our order efficiently. Like we have the queue process, with that we have the concurrency method, and in this project we will use batching process feature of Inngest that will help us to manage the read and write of our orders efficiently. And here we will add the comment, and in this one we will write ingest function to create user order in database. After that we will create the function, so we will write export const, and the function name will be create user order equal to ingest dot create function. And in this one first we have to add the object where we will define the id property. So let's add the id property, and in this id property we will add create user order. After that here we will use the batching process. So to use the batch process we have to add one property, that is batch events, and in this one we have to define the max size. So here let me add the max size 25, and after that we have to add the property, that is timeout, and in this timeout process we will add 5 seconds. So this batch events is defined here with max size 25. Suppose we receive more than 25 orders within the 5 seconds, then the batching will be started and all the 25 orders will be placed simultaneously. Suppose we get 10 order and the timeout is 5 seconds, and in the 5 seconds if we don't get any more order, then all 10 orders will be processed simultaneously. So it will help us to manage the read and write of our database. After that, here we will add one more object where we will define the event that we want to subscribe. So just add the event, and here we will add order created like this. After that we will add the comma, and here we will add the async, and here we will create one async arrow function. In the parameter, previously we were getting the event, and here we will get the events. That is an array. It contains the multiple events for multiple function calls. Inside this one we have to create one variable. So let's write const orders equal to, and now we will extract the orders detail from this events, and we will save the order details in this array. For that we will write events.map, and in this one we will pass the individual event. So let's add the arrow function, and in the parameter we will take individual event. So in this function we have the individual event, and here we will return one object where we will define user ID, and the user ID will be event.data.user ID. Similarly, here we will add the items, and we will get it from event.data.items. Then we will get the amount, and we will get it from event.data.amount. Then we will get the address, and we will get this address from event.data.address. Now we have to add the date, and in this date property we will add event.data.date. Now our orders is ready. After that, here we have to connect with the database. So write await, and here we will call the connectDB function. Then we will add await, and here we will add order model. Let's import this order model. Then we will add dot insert many, and in this insert many we will provide this orders array that we have just created here. After that, here we will return one object. For that, here we will write return success true, and here we will add one processed property where we will add orders.length. That will help us to find how many order is processed every time. So here we have created this function. Now save the changes, and using this function we have to create the route. To create the route, let's come back to this API folder, then go to ingest route.js file, and after this, here we have to add the function name, that is create user order. Just click on this one, so it will get imported. Now save the changes. After that, let me close this file and come to this route.js file inside this order and create folder. After that, here we have to send an event to ingest. So here we will add await, and here we will call ingest. So just click on this one, so it will get imported. So you can see ingest imported from config/ingest file, and here we will use dot send method, and in this one we will add one object where we will add the name property, and here we will provide the name of that event that we want to call. So simply add the order/created, and after that here we will add the data property, and in this data property simply add the user ID, address, items, amount, and in the amount we will add amount plus, let's add colon, and here we have to calculate the tax. So let's reload this web page. Here you can see we are calculating 2% tax. So in this amount also we have to calculate the tax. So just add the math.float method, and here we will provide amount into 0.02. After that, here we will add the date property, and in this date property here we will add the timestamp using this date.now method. So it will send an event to this order/created with this data. After sending this, the order will be placed, and after this, here we have to clear the user's cart. So to clear the user's cart data, let's add the comment clear user cart, and here first we will get the user. So we will write const user equal to await, and here we will use the user model dot find by id method. Here we will provide the user id. After getting this user, we have to clear the user cart. So just add user dot cart items equal to empty object, and after that we have to save the user. So just add await user dot save. So this logic will clear the user's cart from the database. After that, here we will send the response. So to send the response, here we will write return next response dot json, and in this one we will add the object where we will define success property true, and the message will be order placed. Suppose if we get any error during this process, then the catch block will be executed. So we will console log that error, and here we will send one response. So just copy this response from here and paste it here in this catch block, and instead of success true we will add success false, and in the message we will add error.message. So this API has been created. Now we have to redeploy our project on Vercel with the latest changes. So just click on this icon, click on save, and click on commit button, then click on sync changes. Now we will open Vercel in the new tab. We will open vercel.com. We will open our project quick cart, and first we will check every environment variables has been added or not. So we will go to settings, environments, and let's click on environment variables. So here you can see we have these environment variables. We have the Next, Clerk, MongoDB, Inngest. All these keys are available that we have used in this one, but we have to add the cloudinary key also. Just copy this one, come to the web browser, and in this input field we will paste the new environment variables, that is cloudinary keys, right? Just paste it and click on save changes. So environment variables has been added. Now come to deployments, and here we have the option to redeploy our project. So just click on this button, or we can also deploy from here. Just click on this three dot, then click on create deployment, then select main, and then click on this create deployment button. So it will redeploy our next project. After the deployment, we will come to this ingest, and here we will sync our new function with the ingest platform. So just wait for the deployment to be completed. So this project has been redeployed, as you can see here. Now let's come back to the Inngest cloud and just click on apps, refresh this page, and now you can see we have only 3 functions. Let's click on this project and just click on this resync button. Click on resync app. While resync, Here we have the message, the batch size for function create user order cannot be larger than 5. So let's come back to the VS Code editor and let's open Inngest.js file, and here we will reduce this max size to 5. Now save the changes and let's commit again. After this sync, just come back to the web browser, come back to the Vercel. You can see it is redeploying the project. Just wait for this redeployment to be completed. Now this project is redeployed, and again come to Ingest Cloud. Just click on this resync app. Now you can see synced app, and after that if I come to functions, here you can see we have a new function, that is create user order. So now our API is ready. Next we have to integrate our API with our front end. For that, here we will add the logic on this place order button. So whenever we will click on this button, then we will call the API to place the order. So we will come back to the VS Code editor, and here we will come to components folder, then go to order summary.jsx file, and if you come here we have the create order function, right? And it is linked with the place order button. So whenever we will click on the place order button, then this create order function will be executed. So in this function we will add the logic to call the API and to place the order. So first we will add the try catch block so that we can make the API call. So in this try block we will add the if statement, and here we will add not of selected address. Suppose the user don't have any address and the no address is selected. In that case we will display a toast notification. So just add the return, then we will add toast.error. We will import the toast, and here we will add one message, please select an address. So we will add this message, and after this if statement we have to create the cart items array using the cart items. As we know, the cart items where we have stored the cart data is an object. So in the object we have to send the array for the cart items. So we have to convert the object into array. For that, here we will add one variable, let cart items array equal to, and here we will use object dot keys, and in this method we have to provide cart items, and here we will use the map method, and in this one we will get the individual key, and after getting the key we will return one object here. So let's add one object, and in this object we will define product property, and in this product property we will simply save this key, that is the product ID. With that we will add the quantity, and in this quantity property we have to provide the quantity for this key. So simply add cart items and we will provide the key. After that we will get the cart items array, and after that we have to filter out the objects where the quantity is 0. So suppose we added the product in cart and removed it and placed the order, then the cart still have the data of that product ID and the quantity is 0. So we will remove that unnecessary objects. So here we will write cart items array equal to cart items array dot filter property, and here we will add individual item, and here we will return item dot quantity if it is greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, it will return true, and if it is not, then it will return false. Now we have the cart items array. After that, here we will check that the cart is empty or not. So here we will add the if statement, and here we will add cart items array dot length property, and in this one we will add 0. So if it is 0, then the if statement will be executed, and here we will return one toast notification with the type error, and here we will add the message that is cart is empty. Suppose we have the address also and we have the data in the cart, then we will create the order. So before creating the order, simply write const token equal to await, and here we will use get token method. So it will generate a new token for us, and now we can make the API call. So write const curly braces data equal to await. Then use the axios to make the API call, and the method will be post. In this method, we will provide the API endpoint, that is /API/order/create. After that, we will add one object, and here we will add the property that is address, and in this address property, we will provide the selected address. We will not provide the complete address, we will just provide the address ID, and to get the address ID, we will write selected address dot underscore ID. Then we will add the items property, and in this one, we have to add cart items array. So we have added address and items in this request body. After that, we will add the comma, and here we will add the object, and in this one we will define the headers. So just add the headers, and in this headers we have to add the object, and in this one we will provide the authorization property. Here we will add the template literal, so just add backticks, then write bearer, and after that we will add $sign curly braces, and in this one provide our token. So we have added the headers and token, and after this API call we will check the response. So we will write if the data.success is true, it means the order has been placed. So just add toast.success, and here we will display a message that is data.message. So we have added toast.success data.message. So whenever the data.success will be true, then we will display a message in toast notification. After that, here we have to clear the user's cart. So just call the set cart items function, and here we will provide empty object. After placing the order, we will send the user on path that is order placed. This is one landing page where we have added the notification that is order placed successfully, and after 5 seconds from this page we will send the users on my orders, because we have provided 5-second timeout for the ingest batching process. That's why here we have added 5 seconds. So we will send the users on this path order placed. After that, let me close this file, and here we will add router.push, and in this one we will add our path that is /order placed. Suppose we get data.success false, then we will add the else statement, and here we will add the toast notification using error property, and here we will provide the data.message. And in this process, if we get any error, then the catch block will be executed. So here also we will display a toast notification. So just add this statement here, and instead of this data we will add error.message. So our function is ready to create an order. Now we will save the changes, and let's come back to the web browser. Let me reload this web page. Now you can see we have these cart data. From here we will select this address and click on this place order. Now you can see the notification, order placed, and here we have this message, order placed successfully. And after 5 seconds we are redirected to this my orders page, but here we are not getting the actual order data that we have just placed. Instead of that we are getting this dummy data. So we will create the API endpoint that will help us to fetch the user's order data, and we will display the order data here. Before that, let's come back to the database and let's refresh it. Here we have one orders, and in this one we have placed the order, but that order is not available in the database. So let's come back to the Inngest cloud and come to runs. Here you can see this process got failed. So just open this one, and here we are getting the error that is cast to number failed. So here we have to add the type number for amount, and here we are getting the object promise and not a number. So we have to fix this issue. For that we will come back to the VS Code editor, and in this one let's come to the API folder, then go to order, then create and route.js file. If you see here, we have created the function to calculate the amount using the items. So it is taking some time to calculate the amount, so just add the await. Then save the changes. Now we will come back to the website, and let me refresh this website. Let's add some item in the cart. Let's add another product. Add to cart. Click on buy now button, and here we have selected this address and click on place order button. So here we have the message order placed successfully. And now just come back to the database again, and in this orders we will click on this refresh button. Now you can see our order has been created and it is available in the database. So here we have the items. You can see the product ID and quantity. Then we have the amount, and here we have the address ID. Then we have the status and date. So all the data is available here. Now we will come back to the VS Code editor, and here we will create the API that will help us to fetch the data from the database, and we will display the data on my orders page. For that, let's come back to the VS Code API folder, orders, and here we have created one folder called list. So here we will create our API. So right click, and here we will create a new file and write the file name route.js. In this file, first we have to create one asynchronous function. So write export async function, and we will name the function get, and in the parameters we will get the request. In this function, first we will add the try catch block, and in this try block first we have to get the user ID. So just add const curly braces user ID equal to get auth, and in this one we will pass the request and import this get auth from @clerk/nextjs/server. Now we have the user ID, and now we have to connect with the database. So write await connect db, and after that here we have to initialize the models. So just add the model name, that is address. So it will get imported. After that, here we will call the length property. Similarly, here we will add product model. So the product model has been imported, and here we will add dot length. After that, here we have to get all the orders for this user ID. To get it, here we will write const orders equal to await, and here we will call the order model. Just click on this one. So order model has been imported, and here we will use .find method, and in this one we will provide the user ID. After that, here we will use populate method, and in this populate method we have to populate the address. So just add address here, and after that here we have to populate items.product. So this populate method will use this address property where we have saved the address ID, and it will add the addresses in this address property. This will work similar for this items.product. After getting this orders, here we have to create one response. So just add return next response. So next response has been imported here, and here we will use the JSON method and just add the curly braces success property, and it will be true. With that we will add orders data that we are getting here. Now suppose if we get any error during this process, then we will get the error in this catch block. So just copy this statement and paste it here, and here we will simply display the response with success false and remove this orders, and here we will add the message property, and in this message property simply add error.message. So just save the changes, and here we have created this function. Now just come to my orders folder. We will open page.jsx file. So in this file we have to call the API. To call the API, first we need get token method from context, then we will get the user object from the context. So here you can see we have created the function that is fetch orders, and it is fetching the order from the dummy data. So let me remove this statement, and here we will call the API to get the order data from the database. So just add a try catch block, and in this try block we will add const token equal to await, and here we will use the get token, and from this one we will get a token, and after that we will call the API. So just write const data equal to await, and here we are going to use Axios package dot get method, and in this one we have to provide the endpoint and headers. So just add the string that is /API/order/list. After that we have to add the headers. So just add one object where we will define headers, and again add the object, and here we will add the authorization property where we will provide the string using template literal, and here we will add bearer $ curly braces and provide token. After that, here we will check our response. So write data.success. If the data.success is true, then we will call this set orders, and in this one provide data.orders.reverse method. So we will get the latest order will be displayed in the top of the list. After that we will set the loading false, and then we will add the else statement, and here we will add a toast notification with the type error, and in this one we will provide data.message. Now just copy the line from here and paste it here in this catch block, and instead of this data we will add error.message. After adding it, we will come to this use effect, and here we will add one if statement, and here we will check if we have the user, then only we will call this fetch order function. So just provide this function here, and in this dependency array we will add the user. Now we will save the changes and come back to the web browser. Now you can see our order is reflecting in this My Orders page. Now let's try to create another order. So let me click on this Buy Now button. Click on Place Order. Now you can see our order is reflecting in this My Orders page. The order method is COD, cash on delivery, and the payment is pending. So this My Orders page is perfectly working. If I reload this web page, still we have the data from the database. Now after adding it, we will come back to the seller dashboard, and here we have created the logic to add a new product, then product list, and here we have the orders page. So here we will create one API that will fetch all the orders that we will display in the seller's dashboard on this page. For that, we will come back to the VS Code editor, and here if I scroll up, here we have the API folder, then we have the order folder, then we have seller orders. In this folder, we will create a new file with the name route.js. In this file, first we have to create a asynchronous function. So write export async function, and we will name the function get. In this parameter, we will get the request, and inside this function, we will add the try catch block. In this try block, we will add const, and here we will get the user ID equal to get auth, and here we will add the request. Make sure to remove this, and we will add the server. So now we have the user ID, and now we will check is this user is seller or not. So simply write const is seller equal to await, and here we will use the auth seller function that we have created in the lib folder and auth seller file. After that, here we have to pass the user ID. Just provide this user ID here. Now we will get this is user is seller or not. So here we will add the if statement and write not is seller. So if the user is not seller, then we will return a response using the next response, and here we will use .json method, and in this JSON we will provide success false, message not authorized. Now suppose if the user is seller, in that case we will establish the connection with the database. So just write await connect db. After that, here we have to initialize our model. So just add address model. So it will get imported here. After that, we will check the length. After that, here we will get all the orders available in the database. To do that, we will add const orders equal to await, and here we will use the order model dot find method, and in this method we will provide one empty object. Then we will populate the address property. With that, we will also add items.product. After this statement, we will get all the orders in this orders array. Then we will generate a response. So just add return next response dot JSON, and in this JSON we will provide one object where we will add success true and the orders array. Now suppose if we get any error in this process, then the catch block will be executed, and here we will simply return a response. So just copy it from here and we will paste it here. In the message we will provide error.message. Now save the changes and we will integrate this API with our seller dashboard in the order page. So just come to sellers folder, then we have this orders, then page.jsx. As you can see here, we have created a function fetch seller orders and we are using the order dummy data. So we will remove this line from here and here we will make the API call to make the orders data. To do that, first we have to get the get token method. With that we will get the user, and in this function we will add a try catch block. In this try block we will simply add the const token equal to await, and here we will generate a token using this get token method. After that, here we will add const curly braces data equal to await, and here we will use the axios package dot get method. Here we have to provide the endpoint and headers. So first add the endpoint, that is /API/order/seller orders. After that, here we have to add the object where we will define the headers, and in the headers we will add the object where we will add the authorization property and we will add the token. So just add the backticks bearer, then $ curly braces, and here we will provide the token. Let me arrange it in different lines. Now we will check our response. So just add the if statement and here we will write data.success if it is true. In that case we will get all the order data. So we will use the setter function set orders and we will provide data.orders, and after that we will add the set loading false. Now suppose if we get data.success is equal to false, in that case we will add the else statement, and here we will display a toast notification. So just add toast.error, and here we will add data.message. Now just copy this statement and paste it in this catch block, and here we will provide error.message. Now we have to call this function whenever the user is logged in. For that, here in this dependency array we will add user, and in this function we will add the if statement and we will write if we have the user then only we will call this function. So just move this function and paste it here in this if block. Fetch seller orders. Save the changes and come back to the web browser. Now you can see here we have the order details, and if I reload this web page, it is still there. So now we have created all the functionality for the seller. Now just come back to the product list, and if I click on this visit, you can see we are back to the product page. So all these logics are perfectly working. We can add the product from this page. We can see the available product. Then we can see the orders. And if I come to home page, and on this home page, all APIs are perfectly working. If I click on this icon, we can manage the account. We can go to cart page. We can go to my orders. Now we will deploy this project on Vercel. So just come back to this Vercel platform and just come back to the VS Code and we will commit these changes. So just click on this icon and here we will add the text finished project. Then click on commit button, then click on sync. After that, you can see it will automatically start deploying our project. So deployment is ready, as you can see here. And after that, let's come to project. And here we have the domain where our project is running. So just click on this link. So now you can see here we are getting all these products. And this is the product detail page. It is working fine. So we have successfully created this full stack e-commerce website where we have added the Clerk authentication and we have added the event management using Inngest platform. We have also included the batch processing that will help us to manage our database read and write operation smoothly. So I hope this video will be helpful for you. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. Please like and share this video and also subscribe my channel GreatStack to watch more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching this video.